Hi. So it's been like 5 months, at least looking at YouTube, since the last time I did a video. I want to say sorry, but I'm not really sorry. I tried to get back into it back in February, March, and obviously that attempt didn't work. So let's see if this attempt works to get back into making YouTube videos. I'm going to start late this time. I'm not going to actually do anything with tarot decks, but I'm going to kind of blatantly steal an idea from my lovely friend Allie. And talk about some books, basically. A while back, I watched her library book haul video and was like, heck yes, let's talk about books we get from the library, because guess what? The library has a crap ton of tarot books that you can access for free, obviously, because it's a public library. That's really exciting. When I first started, I definitely got some books from the library and would go, but I didn't get a whole ton. I just tended to buy them right away. However, in the last year-ish, my plan and goal has been to utilize the library more, so I'm buying less books, so I don't have to keep buying bookshelves to put books on, and instead can return them, and be a little more fiscally responsible as well, because books are expensive. So, yeah. So I have a haul of books over here, and by that I mean down here. Can't see the whole stack, but it's nice and tall. This is going to be a mix of books. Some are going to be tarot books, some are going to be other books that I thought might be useful for my life, and some are going to be fiction books. But if you notice, if you're at all familiar with this series, you would know that there are tarot readers in the books. So I'll start from the top. The top two are books that are not library books. I actually did buy this one. I didn't buy this one. But I didn't buy this one because it was given to me. But everything else underneath is tarot books. Or library books, I should say. So, like Allie, I love the library. I'm so happy that I have access to, frankly, an incredible library system here in St. Louis. We have so many easily accessible branches. I used to live about a block and a half from one branch. It was a smaller branch, and now I've moved back in December. I'm about a mile away from a bigger branch. So I have to drive there, whatever. But it's easily accessible. It's right next to Target, which is even better for me. I love it. So, yes. Great library system here in St. Louis. I'm so thrilled that I get to have the opportunity to use it. If I really wanted to, I could also hook up with the county library system as well, and they have a really awesome reciprocal agreement. So use your public library if you want free books on tarot or anything. You want to learn about it, Ouija stuff, divination, anything. Your library will serve you well. Nobody gives you any judgment. It's great. So let's go through the books. Say hi to my cats as they walk through the background. So the first book, one of my faves, I love this one, it's Kitchen Table Tarot, by the very lovely Melissa Sanova. So this book was gifted to me by Liz herself. We are good friends, IRL, since she lives in the area. And I'm just, makes me so happy. So yes, I have read it. Yes, I think it's amazing. This has become one of my most recommended tarot books ever. I know I got this copy back in like March or April. I know it was released in April. So a little late to be going, let's talk about this brand new tarot book. It's not brand new. But anyway, it's amazing. It's a great beginner's book. Liz is exactly as she sounds in this book, I promise you. If you've read it already, she kicks ass. It's literally about, like, she teaches as if, and she writes in this book as if she's teaching you while sitting at the kitchen table. She tells her stories about reading tarot. She talks about doing tarot. She does give you meaning, so that's a huge part of it as well. But it's different than a lot of other beginner books out there, in my opinion. It's extremely accessible, and I think that's the important piece. She's not going to go into all the esoteric details. She's going to force you to look more at your intuition, and also to look in a more pragmatic, practical way, I think, of reading tarot than a lot of other people do. I'm not saying it's bad to get esoteric, to get really into those things, whatever. She does still force you to look at the details. It's just, she has a down-home, kick-ass, like, badass kind of way of looking at it, I think. I can't really describe it past that, mostly because I know her, and so I see her in every single word in this book. A lot of the stories in here I have heard firsthand from her before they were written down, so I just think that's even more hilarious. I can recognize stuff in here. My name is in the book, super thrilling. I am thanked in the very back. She actually goes through and she parts everybody's names when she gives them a book, so hello. She also went through and she would like make little, she'd give us a little thing, and she made little funny comments on various cards that she actually goes through and she picks one card that she feels like you are. And I remember when she handed me the book, and I think she handed it to me at her house, no less. It was just like, yes, this card is your card. Ace of Cups. Do not drink the dove water. What else? Majors. She went and gave a little heart in there for me. So, anyway, I love this book. Not just because we're friends, but because she did an amazing job writing this and putting it together, and I am just so thrilled. I recommend this to everybody to read. It's so accessible. Alright, my next book. I bought this one fairly recently. I saw it. Michelle T is cool. So it was like, Michelle T wrote a tarot book. Okay, I'll check it out, see what I think. I got this last month before. I'll be honest, I have not finished reading it. I don't have to return it to the library, so I'm just like, I'll finish it whenever. It's definitely different in structure from how Liz wrote hers. They're both beginners books. They both, I think, take a more pragmatic, down-to-earth-ish style, so that's really neat. They're both fairly, like, modern in terms of covers and, who they're appealing to, everything like that. The difference is that it's thicker and bigger. She spends a lot more time, I think, on the individual cards than Liz does. But literally, there's the introduction. It's talking about the major arcana. Then it's the minor, and then it's the court card. So she splits it up this way. She doesn't have any extra chapters outside of that stuff. And from my understanding, what she does is that when she talks about each of the parts, at the end of which, I actually had a friend of mine go through the book for me and tell me what she liked about it, because I haven't finished it yet. And she had like little rituals and ways to like bring these cards in your life and how to utilize those energies, which is why a friend of mine really liked it. And I was like, I hadn't quite caught up to that part yet, so I'm excited to read through and see what she thinks. I don't have a full opinion on how this works in the book yet, but I mostly skimmed through and was checking the meaning and everything like that. So I'll probably have a fuller response to this later. I still don't know if I would recommend this as like, yes, this should be your very first tarot book, the way I would Kitchen Table Tarot. But that's because I don't think I'll recommend anything as hard as I do Kitchen Table Tarot. Just straight up. As beginners, 101, here's your first step into tarot. That would be the book I would recommend. I mean, I don't even recommend holistic tarot for folks who've been doing tarot for less than 6 months, quite frankly. And that's if you've been like doing it fairly regularly for 6 months. If you're doing it for like vaguely on and off, whatever, don't start holistic tarot for a while. It's a big old thick tome, and I love it. I love Bella Bowman and how she writes. It's just not that great of an immediate beginner's book, I would think. Same with 78 Degrees of Tarot, but that's just because it was too esoteric for me. That's why I like Kitchen Table Tarot. Okay, so my fiction books. So I have actually been reading, which is very exciting. Based on Liz, she loved The Raven Cycle, and actually interviewed the author. I cannot say her last name. Stefaner? Don't ask me. Anyway, and plus I was safety on Tumblr. So I finally borrowed the books for this series from the library. I finished and returned the first one a while ago, so I only have the next 3. Dream Thieves, literally just finished Blue Lily, Lily Blue today, and I am now down to the last one, finally. I haven't finished multiple books in a row in a very long time. I hate to say it, but it's true. As a massive reader, I have finished so many books, so many series, and everything like that. This is the first time I finished 3 in a row in less than a month. Holy shit. That's super exciting. Great stories. Love reading them. Love reading the tarot reader characters in here. They're hysterical. Maggie, obviously, she has her Raven, whatever, tarot card that's based off the book series, you know. So it's really great to be able to read through this and see the books that it's all based off. I don't have that deck. I thought about it, but it doesn't speak to me quite, so I don't own it, but I do have friends who do. So it's been really fun reading the series, and I'm really glad I picked it up. And then I've been finishing it, which is even better. Young adult is just so fun to read. I'm super pumped to start the Raven King, just in terms of story and everything like that, because I'm just so freaking excited for the next part of what's going to happen. But yeah, so I have 3 weeks left on these, I think. I just know. A few days left on those, and I have a little extra, about 6 days left on this, because I still have to renew this one. But I'm super excited. I was just doing one at a time, but then I got the next 3 because I went on a trip to North Carolina last week, week before, whatever, and I wanted books to read on the flights to and from. Didn't end up reading on the flights to North Carolina because I was like half passed out the entire time, trying to sleep after getting an hour and a half of sleep on the beforehand. Don't recommend, but I did read on the way back, so it was great. I was able to finish Dream Thieves and start on Blue Lily Blue then. Really great traveling books. For me, they go fast, but I'm a quick reader. Anyway, highly recommend. I'm not going to get all nerdy and geeky about them like other people do, but highly recommend. I'm super pumped to finish reading that. Okay, I have 4 more books. Okay, so tarot books and an ADD book. Okay, let's look at that. So, yes, there's a reason for this. So, I picked up, let me go in order. I picked up this little one. I don't know, these 3, I literally just like went to the section at the library close to me and went, what's in the tarot book section? This is Blending Astrology, Numerology, and Tarot. It's an old one. This was published in 97, so this is 20 years old. I don't know if I want to read this. And frankly, I got precisely 5 pages in and went, I'm done. No. It's definitely really esoteric. It really is combining tarot with like birth charts and numbers and stuff in a way that like I feel like I just walked in like halfway through this person's musing on these topics and I went, huh? I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. What's going on here? And then put it down. So if you are super good at all 3 of these things and you can really bridge them and you understand where it's coming from immediately, top notch. For me, and I imagine most people around my experience, age, everything like that, probably not the best tarot book. I don't recommend. So I'm not even going to finish that one, to be honest. I get to return to the library, though. Next, I also got Tarot for the Healing Heart by Christine Jette. I started this last night, actually. However, I admit I was a little high on the calm your shit tea that I was drinking. Had valerian root in it. Anyway, so yeah. So I started reading this. It seems really interesting. So the whole point is really looking at like, it's not healing heart like and healing from love breakups, so that's part of it. This seems to be focused on like healing in general. So definitely a bit woo-woo. It is written by an RN, however, so she does remind people that like this isn't a replacement for like medical stuff, anything like that. And it looks like she has some original spreads in here. It's really focusing more on that like kind of looking at your life in a holistic manner using tarot, which seemed really interesting. There's definitely meditation stuff in there. She does not recommend reading this willy-nilly, like so one chapter to another, so you have to read in order. I got through the first chapter. So let's talk about how to get the most from it, you know, recognizing that, like, you know, saying, like, as humans, we have the ability to heal, blah, blah, blah. So it'll be interesting to see the next part. So it looks like it's really focused on, like, this, creating a ritual around tarot that focuses on yourself and healing, whatever that looks like to you. I'm not entirely sure how much you want to go into physical healing versus, say, emotional healing. Again, that's hitting on the woo-woo a bit for me, but, you know, tarot, that's what we do. Yeah. So, I'm seeing stuff like, you know, you gotta have a journal, gotta have a sacred space. I'm seeing a lot of stuff about grounding and centering, going in a section of talking about guides and stuff like that start to hit points where I don't really go into, but yeah. Anyway, so I'll probably read through this more and get a better sense of where she's coming from, but it's definitely a different way of looking at tarot than what I've been using it as. So I've been mostly using it as, where are we? Where are we going? What's going on? What do I need to know? That kind of stuff. But there have been some aspects of what I've been doing, not lately, because I haven't exactly been reading for myself lately. But prior to that, like really focusing on like, okay, what do I do? How can I move forward? How can I, anything like that. But this is, I think, taking a little more and like internalizing it, and not just keeping it as a action piece. There's action involved, but like that's more like internal meditative growth, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so this will be interesting, I think, to look at a little bit, and get a better sense of. So I'm mildly excited for that. Now, this other book, I read through pretty much all of it last night. And by last night, I mean yesterday afternoon, last night. It's by Mary K. Greer. How awesome is she? And it's Who Are You in the Tarot? I was interested in it because it talks about your birth cards and your year cards and everything like that. I'm not saying all about uncovering your destiny, but yeah, interesting. So this was cooler than I thought it would be. And then I started like texting a group of friends and I was like, hey, I'm going to word vomit on you about this book because there's some shit in this and I feel really called out right now. Anyway, so I did. So this book is really awesome. So it's definitely combining numerology and tarot, I think, in a way that Mary K. Greer has been working on for years, actually, because I do have an old copy of her Tarot for Yourself. My understanding is that some of the stuff is in there as well, but it's an old used copy, so I haven't fully read through it and other people wrote in it. But this takes it further. So what it does is it's looking at, I have to go to the beginning because I'm so focused on what happened in the last half of the book, I forgot about the first half. So it's essentially, so numerology is all about like life path. What are these numbers? Those power numbers, right? 1 through 9. What do they mean? What, all that stuff. So based on Western tradition, essentially, because that's what numerology is. And how does that apply to our lives? So it's not math. It's magic. / personality quizzes in the old days. It's like, I think it's akin to like trying to figure out where your Harry Potter house is, right? Like, yeah. Except using tarot and numbers. So what you do basically is, birth card, a lot of people do. So you add up the numbers to your birthday. So you have day, individually numbered of the month, and individually the number of the year. So if you were born January 1st, 2000, it would be 1 + 1 + 2. So you get a 3. That's pretty impressive, actually. So let's go with, I don't know, March 24th, 1997. So it would be 3 + 2 + 4 + 1 + 9 + 9 + 7, right? And then you get a number. From that number, you get about a 4-digit base number, and then you add those together again individually. And then if you get a number that is over 22, you add it together again to get a number less than 22. If you get a number between 10 and 22, that's one of your numbers, and then you add it together again, one of your cards, and you add it together again, and you get another card. So my cards add up to 10, which then you would add together again, and then you would get 1. So my birth cards are the Magician and the Wheel, right? And so she takes the just beyond that. So she talks about like how if you have a 2-card set, you have personality card and a soul card. So the first number that you get is a personality card. The second number you get is your soul card. So like more about destiny, stuff like that. Personality card is more like external stuff, I think. And then down from there, If you just have one card, so if you have to add together and you just have the one, then that's both your personality and soul card. And then if you're a part of the set that's related to my series of cards, if you get 19, 10, and 1, then there's a lot of extra stuff about that. But then she also talks about hidden factor cards that are related to them and everything like that. And she just has this whole amazing system of putting everything together, which was really cool. Seriously though, it was amazing. There's some parts of it that I'm still confused at, I think, because I was reading it a little too fast and I want to go back over. So she does that. She talks about like the archetypes. She talks about what does it mean for this to be your birth number, your, you know, everything like that. And then, but also she talks about additional cards beyond the birth cards. So all these birth cards and other cards make up your lifetime cards. Oops, my hair got caught. And so the other ones would be like the numbers from your name, actually, and how your name adds up. And she has a different system, her own system of assigning numbers to the letters in your name than other people do from the standard numerology, which she explained really well in the back. And so that was really interesting and really cool. I like the section that she has in the beginning, talk about the nature of beliefs. So she recognized that, like, our beliefs are the framework of our reality. So if we believe something, we kind of make it true, but you know, so she gets into that, which is really cool. Yeah, she also does provide some additional exercises in some of her other books. So from the 21 Ways to Read a Tarot Card, she has a couple exercises from there. She has some spreads to get to know some of the cards, like some of your birth cards or your lifetime cards, to get to know them a bit better. She has some spreads here for that. And she talked about how to incorporate the minor cards. Just really cool. Just a ton of really cool stuff. And something about like personality cards. So she has cards that are your soul card, your personality card, or things that you have to learn. And then also some of them are hidden factor cards, so shadow cards, really. And for my series of cards, Magician is the soul card for me. Wheel of Fortune is a personality card. The Sun is a hidden factor, which is really interesting. And that was fascinating to me to read, like, how the sun, which is, you know, bright and everything like that, can be a shadow card. Which this is where I felt called out. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go read some more pages now. Yeah, so, really cool. And some other stuff. Let's get to... she combines the cards into various constellations, and she explains how she does that. I'm not going to go into that. But she also talks about your year cards. So that's not just your birth card, but then also each year for you is a different card, right? So based on the year that you were born. So right now, based on this chart, and adding up the numbers to, so it's your birthday, so birth month, birthday, plus the current year. So currently I am in a Hanged Man year. Next year is going to be a death year. And I'm just like, oh shit. Not that either are bad, it's just a lot, right? And I can definitely feel the Hanged Man-ness of this year for me, just a lot of it going around. And I can also kind of see how next year might be a death year if the things that I want to happen. Lots of change, right? That's what death is about. It's about change, it's about opening the door, it's about like this metamorphosis in some ways, and I'm just kind of dreading it because that's also the year I turned 30. Yeah. Anyway, gonna be interesting. And she gets into a lot. She just gets into a ton of really cool stuff, and it's just really interesting. Especially when she gets into your name and what that means. And yeah. So if you want to really like, obviously I just read this as well about it. So if you really want to get into a book that might take tarot in a different direction for you, talking about like life paths and life journeys and personalities and how we might interact with the world and how we can use tarot and numerology as a structure to kind of think about that stuff in a similar way to astrology or MTBI, the Myers-Briggs, the Myers-Briggs type personality typing. This is really great for that as well. I really appreciated it. So it's still a lot more for me to dig into, and I might end up buying a copy of this book actually, just so I can have it and workbook it and everything like that, and not have to return it to the library all the time. The last book I got, this is not tarot related, but also in my life, everything is whatever. I got, based on recommendation of someone, ADD-friendly ways to organize your life. True story. I've had this for almost 3 weeks, and I read exactly, not a whole lot of it. Hold on, I think I have bookmarked. I don't know. I got a few chapters in, but not as far as I wanted to. So I have been grappling with the fact that I probably very likely have ADD. I'm not the only one who says this about myself. And so I really wanted to look at a book and was like, how can I approach my life in a way and organizing things in my life in a way that works for my brain rather than works against my brain. And there's been a lot of shame and stigma. I mean, just if you look over here, you see my part of my shelf that is already very disorganized, right? The whole point of these shelves are to be organized. Am I? Nope. Yeah. So I really wanted something to help me start looking at positive ways to cope, especially when it comes to cleaning and organizing, because that is something I struggle with. And I do know that when they were clean and organized, I personally feel a lot better. Getting to that point is extremely difficult, though, due to executive dysfunction, motivational stuff, hyperfocus, interests, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. So hopefully my goal is to read this a little bit more, and I'm hoping this will help me out. I would argue that a lot of that stuff, the motivational problems, the feeling overwhelmed, the stigma of like starting, stopping projects, everything like that, figuring out the way to plan things to best get started, which I'm hoping a lot of this will help out with a little bit. All those have been barriers for me personally in moving further in some aspects of my tarot life journey. I don't know, like I've been saying for a long time that I want to sell the tarot bags that I make, and I mean, they're kick-ass bags. Even I acknowledge this, and I make them, right? I think they're awesome. I want people to have them. I want people to sell them. It's just getting organized enough or to a place enough where I can do that is extremely hard. And it's not that I don't want to. It's just doing the thing, right? How does one get to the point where one does the thing? I don't know. There are two most roles to do, but I am not one of them who's very good at it. So I'm hoping this might be one of the many first steps that I can take. I have also been talking to my counselor about some of this and everything, and he is also actually ADD himself, so it's been really helpful. But yeah, so first step to do things. It's already been a little helpful for thinking about, rather than looking at life as a series of, or tasks that I dread as a series of, why can't I do this? Everybody else I know can do this. Normal person can accomplish this thing. Thinking it as like, okay, I'm not that other person I'm thinking about, so what are the barriers? Okay, so what's stopping me from doing this? Okay, so then what's an easy way to get around that, or what's a way to get around that? How will I actually do the thing? So one thing I've seen suggested on a group of mine a while back was acknowledge the fact that your shelves may never be organized, so maybe create a system where you throw things in. I mean, I want to be like, are you sure? But one thing, my shoes are never in the place that they're supposed to be. So I stopped and thought, like, okay, where do I actually put my shoes? Not where do I think they should go, but where do I actually put them? And I realized that I actually put them next to in my closet. Okay, so time to break down the shelf system that I had by my front door, which I rarely ever come in and out of, and set up a crate system. If you turn far enough, yes, you can see my 2 crates. Just put 2 crates by my closet and toss them in. It works for now. We're trying it out. I've only done it for a few days. But yeah, so stuff like that. So this book has been kind of helpful with thinking about that. There are other tactics I still need to use, like, having somebody just literally stare at me while I do things. Accountability partners. So I'm really excited to also incorporate that, and I really do hope using some of these tactics and using some of these skills would be helpful for me. Maybe with tarot videos, tarot stuff, getting other things off the ground, really moving forward in not just my work life or all the other things I want to do in my life, but also tarot as well. Because this is an important part of my life, and I want to be able to do it better. Or for me, better for me, not better for whatever. So that's my library haul. Those are the books that I got. Somehow all of them do relate to tarot. You're welcome. Yeah, and I hope you all enjoyed my little foray back into YouTube video land. I hope I actually stay this time. I will hopefully be recording a video with somebody else very soon. We're pretty excited about it. you'll see it when you see it. Also, side note, by the way, I looked at those last videos that I made, so back in March, and they were before I got my haircut. Oh my. I was really grown out on the sides. Not a pretty look. I will say, after that, so my hair is down to about here, the top part of it, when I took those videos, even though I had it tied up most of the time. But now, yo, I chopped all my hair off in March, and it has been the freaking best thing ever. I've actually managed to maintain this haircut, which never happens. It's been in the hat, so it's kind of sticking up weird ways, and it's actually a little bit grown out now. But this is a very different version of grown out than it was back when my hair was long and I just didn't have the energy to go get it cut every 4 weeks, which I gotta reschedule another haircut. This is about 2.5 weeks in, and this is about the point where I want to get it cut again. But yeah, I chopped all my hair off. As one does. So, anyway. Hope I stay. I hope I see you all again. And have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Alright? And by the way, let me know, what books have you gotten from the library that you really enjoy? And have you gotten library books and been like, hey, I'm going to buy these now? Or have any books that you've like, I'm glad I got this in the library, I'm going to return it and never pretend it never existed. Especially around tarot. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah, so leave some comments and check out all the links I'm going to have below. Alright? Bye!